Oh, okay. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on this morning, this evening, wherever you are in the world. If it's a Thursday or a Friday with me, a Thursday with a lot of you. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. Um, I saw this webinar yesterday and it's phenomenal. So I'm just going to jump straight in and introduce our incredible speakers this evening. So, we've got Patricia Bowerman, who is a revolutionist health activist. All them books, I stayed with her. She has read everything. She's probably one of the most intelligent, personable geeks that I know. And she's got a wealth of knowledge, especially in toxicity and taking back control of your health. And we've also got Philip Hoare, who is an autoimmune transformational specialist, where I feel a lot of the time, poor Phil, he gets people when they're at the end of their tether. Nobody else, everyone else has said no, no, no. And he's like, I reckon we can do something with this. And he's seen incredible changes in people's health. So I'm honored that you're on here this evening. Patricia, I'm going to jump straight over to you because even when I was over there, you were harping on about glyphosate, glyphosate. People don't understand. And you were like, they need to know about, Dr. Sennett and Stephanie Sennett, and I know you've been to so many places and interviewed so many people. So could you just maybe even just explain to us or just kick us off with Stephanie Sennett? What was all these interviews about? What did you hear everything about?
Well, I had my health journey like most of us on this call, and it led me to big gut problems and stuff, and it led me to learning about glyphosate from another LifeVantage person. And he told me about Dr. Stephanie Seneff. Then her book came out, and we were starting to have court cases tried about glyphosate, proving it caused cancer. So now we could start getting loud about it. And then her book came out, phenomenal read. It's not terribly thick, but it's very sciencey. So if you don't like to geek out on science, I still suggest reading it. Maybe get a digital version, which I also did that, so you can highlight things that jump out to you. You can color code them. That's not getting a little OTT, but you can also copy and paste important things because I've read this several times. It wasn't just an easy read, I'll tell you. But tonight, I'm going to just dumb it down into 7 minutes. What's in it for you? Stuff that I want to hope will stick and you can share with people that you know. So I've interviewed her 3 times as well as read her book. And my content is from her and also Dr. Zach Bush. So you may not have heard of Dr. Stephanie Seneff, but I bet a lot of you have heard of Dr. Zach Bush and followed him. Well, he was speaking at a conference about 3 years ago. He was the keynote speaker. So I ambushed him, caught him in the hall. I had a question, and he was standing there all by himself. I couldn't believe it. So I asked him my question about glyphosate. He deferred to Stephanie Seneff. So that's how big she is. And then Phil's going to start off, and then I'll come in with my little bit, and then Phil will close, and then we'll have Q&A.
Yeah, it was interesting that I saw something on Zach Bush saying glyphosate's in the air and the water. So it's something you just can't get away from. It's a matter of just managing it. Let's jump in. I speak fast. My background, I used to be a financial planner. Used to help a lot of people get insurances and get their medicals done. Some couldn't get their cover because the health wasn't good. And I thought, hold on, I've got some ideas, know a lot about health stuff. And I said, do these couple of things the next couple of months, and then let's go retest them. And then, funny enough, they started getting their life insurance approved and everything else. So I thought, hold on, let's transition from what I do here to what I do here. So helping people make money and invest money is great, but this is more fun helping people with their health, because if you don't have your health, you'll spend all your wealth to try to be healthy. That's it. So I'm going to jump into some slides. I speak crazy fast, and I sometimes pauses me and says, Phil, you got to slow down. I just say, listen faster. So let's just jump in here. And I can see you, Patricia. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen, full screen? You got it? Okay, awesome. Okay, let's jump into it. It's okay. I'm not talking about leaky gut. This is a huge, huge subject with anyone who's got autoimmune. And I see it a common thread all the time. Another thing you can take home is a mic drop. Anyone with an autoimmune condition has got a blocked lymphatic system. So that's a whole nother discussion. But when you look at these two things, leaky gut and lymphatic issues, add that to toxins, which is causing all these issues. This is what we're going to talk about today. So the one thing I always say to people, let's look outside the box. If you were this cat and you stayed looking forward, I can tell you now, you're not going to move anywhere. If this cat just looked left and right, you may find the answer. So sometimes this is an interesting subject here. When you work with people with health challenges, they have to look for the hard things all the time. I've got no idea why. It should be something simple, accessible, and easy to understand. And that's what I want to share with you guys today. So look outside the box. There's this big thing called epigenetics. And honestly, if you think of yourself as an apple, that you're getting affected by all the things on the outside. And that's essentially what epigenetics is. If you're one of those people that exercise way too much, it can actually break down the body. Now, if you've seen any elite athletes over time and distance, you start seeing their bodies break down quicker than most people. A friend of mine says to me, Phil, my heart only beats a certain amount of times in my lifetime. I'm going to make sure it doesn't go too fast. So he doesn't exercise. Quite interesting. So you need to move the body to some level. Comes to mobile phones, 5G, 3G, whatever it is, it affects your cells. So these things were never around 200 to 300 years ago. So really what we've done, we've actually causing these issues ourselves over time and distance. If you go fill up your motor vehicle, you put some gas or fuel in your car, the smell of that is a toxin that irritates the body. The body doesn't understand this. Same as the water, it's got glyphosate in it. I mean, I think Patricia will share some stats with that as well later on. And you can't get away from it. In Australia, there's one city, I think it's Toowoomba. They do a lot of farming there. They've seen a massive rise of cancer in that area. And I wonder why, because it's run off from the farms. Also looking at foods, and whether it's fast food, anything else, honestly, when did food have numbers? So when you look at any food packaging, turn around, oh, there's numbers. You shouldn't be eating that. We don't have numbers. You've got to eat food naturally. The other thing as well, the air we breathe, again, if you run chemicals or industry, you're going to have air that's not good. Motor vehicles, if you're driven behind a motor vehicle or truck, you smell something, cadmium, it's a lead, it's heavy metals. That affects and interrupts the cells. Your body is not designed for these things. And again, the one thing I'm going to touch on here in more depth is to do with glyphosates. Spraying your crops. In some way, they say we need it. I say we don't, but you've got to look at it in context. But the thing is here, we got these things around us all the time. We have to find ways to manage it because you're never going to get rid of all these things. It's impossible. We live in a world that's got all these things. So we need to manage it. But that's all the stuff that's affecting you on the outside. But when these things affect the cells from the inside, it causes something called oxidative stress. So think of you as this healthy, sexy apple. We put you on the counter. Your cell is good. You leave it there for a couple of days. Guess what happens? The apple starts going brown. Your cells are now getting attacked by these free radicals, aka epigenetics. And over time and distance, that apple's going to go rotten. And it goes to something called oxidative stress, which is actually caused from inflammation as well. So if you think about this here, we're all going to get to that rotten apple at some stage. But let's pull the handbrake up and slow down. Because a friend of mine has said to me, when you look at life, you need to be happy, healthy, dead. Not happy, healthy, suffer, dead. So that's where I want to go here. So let's pull the handbrake and let's get our health back on track. I'm a big fan of science. I love PubMed. Go to PubMed. It's a National Institute of Health here. They've got about 36 million medical citations on this website. Honestly, you type in oxidative stress, and those numbers are slightly higher, and you go oxidative stress, and let's say a particular health challenge. I had one of mine on there. I put him in there, and it went down to a lot lower. And I said to myself, there's a link here. Let me get started with Life Manager doing. This is like exciting stuff. I spent about 3 weeks looking and researching stuff, threw some slides together, and I started becoming talky talk. So that's why I speak so fast, because I'm very passionate about the subject. Everything that you see, any health issue, is linked back to free radical damage and oxidative stress. That's not me saying this. This is the National Institute of Health. They are saying it. So I like to use other people's information for confirmation, just exactly what Patricia is doing here as well. So when it comes to health issues, this big word called gluten over here. Everybody thinks gluten's bad for you. Now, if you go live in France, Italy, you can eat all the pasta, all the pizza, doesn't affect you. Why? Because the food there is natural. There's no glyphosate on it. So this is why everyone in other first world countries are going, oh, I can't eat bread. I blow up like a ball. I can't eat a pizza. I can't eat pasta. It's not the food. It's the way it's processed. And this is damaging your gut lining. And this is why all these autoimmune challenges are starting from the gut. Like celiac disease. I've got a friend of mine who can't have a breadcrumb and he blows out basically. He has got health issues because his gut's not good. And over time and distance, someone said to me, if you fart too much, you're going to get some autoimmune condition somewhere down the line because your body can't break things down. Okay, so that's the information. But now, when I look at health, it has to be something so simple. You got to build a house on a solid foundation. Because I can tell you now, if you don't build a house on solid foundation on sand, the walls are going to crack. So think of it like this. If you haven't got that solid foundation going on, the walls, doors, and windows are eventually going to be wonky. You can move house, go somewhere else. I can tell you now, that's great. But if you're still abusing the body, not getting your foundation right, because your body is your only place of permanent residence, you can shift anywhere. Your health follows you like a shadow. You've got to make sure your temple, your body is in a healthy state. Therefore, I focus on the foundation of health. And the first thing you got to deal with is find a way to deal with your mitochondria as well as your deal with inflammation. Leaky gut is such a fancy, funny word. When you start hearing it, people say it's intestinal permeability. And I say, well, there's funny things going on. So if you look at it here, this here is essentially like a microscope. It's a zooming in of your small intestines. So it's like a mesh. If those mesh is not stuck nicely together, all these bacteria can actually fall through. Oh, I don't have it there. And there we go. So those cells are going to be nice and tight. If they're not, the bacteria now can go through. So think of this. Going from there, that's your mouth on that side, and that's your back door on the other side. These bacteria want to go out the back door, but I like to say they like to go out the side door when you've got inflammation. So they're going to come down and through the intestinal wall here. This wall is so thin over here that anything can pass through it. It's like not even a millimeter. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny section. It gets into your blood, and these bacteria can cause havoc. There's actually research that some of these bacteria can mimic organs. For example, let's say it mimics a thyroid. The body goes, hold on, that shouldn't be in the blood. Okay, we're going to attack it. Your body doesn't attack itself. I believe there's no such thing in autoimmune disease because your body ain't that stupid to attack itself. What happens here, it can cross the blood-brain barrier. Many people I speak to got brain fog. It's like, oh, what else you got going on? Oh, I've got gut issues. Maybe this is the issue here. It's not about trying to take all these other nutraceuticals, all the rest of all these other supplements, which help. But when you've got this blood-brain barrier going through here, you start having health issues, inflammation, get malabsorption, and then it can lead to autoimmune. This is a common thread I see all the time. So you have to heal and seal the gut. That is your foundation. Think of Bruce Lee, for example. His arms weren't that big, or neither were his legs, but he had a really strong core. That's where the strength of him came from the core center. So think of a gut's exactly the same. Another way to explain leaky gut, if you're in the kitchen and you're making dinner and you're doing what you need to do, and suddenly the pipe drain breaks, trust me, you're going to get the plumber in. I don't care if it's 1 o'clock in the morning. You're going to make sure they're there. So we all around fixing our house around us, but we're not fixing our house on the inside. So when that gets a tiny little hole, then what happens? It gets damaged. That is extreme level of leaky gut. So from here, this is where all health issues start. And Patricia's going to take it on now, and she's going to talk a bit more about what she wants to talk about here.
Wow, love it. And this is a favorite topic of mine, mostly because nobody else talks about it. And it affects absolutely everything. So what's on the end of your fork? Most people do not know. When I ask for a show of hands from those who've heard of glyphosate, when I'm doing public speaking in a room or on a Zoom, very few hands go up, despite people eating 3 square meals a day of it. Glyphosate is not our friend. And according to experts, we would all test positive for glyphosate in our urine. But it's not all that bad. I'll explain that. We all need to have a better understanding of what glyphosate is, where it is, and what it's doing to our health, as well as the environment we have all been entrusted with. So next slide, please, Phil. Dr. Stephanie Seneff, who I mentioned, is the author of Toxic Legacy. Is considered to be the world's foremost authority on glyphosate. As I said, even Dr. Zach Bush referred to her. And I'm going to share these key points with you today. So glyphosate is the most ubiquitous herbicide in use today. It penetrates the crops it's sprayed on and does not wash off, does not cook out. If you don't remember anything else from what I say today, remember that. Too many health experts are telling people to wash their produce in bicarb or vinegar. It might wash it off the peel, but as you'll see, it's already destroyed the vitamins and the minerals and the amino acids in the crop. And importantly, it also destroys something called the shikimate pathway. The shikimate pathway is how the cells communicate to give instructions for the crop to produce. And it penetrates the soil at least 6 inches and gets drawn up by the roots. The worms are smart enough to leave, and we need the worms because they magically produce the nutrients in the soil that goes into the crops, which we then benefit from. Now, Monsanto argued that humans don't have a shikimate pathway, so glyphosate in their product Roundup was not harmful to humans. I know all of you on this call tonight are aware that our bodies are covered with vital bacteria all over, inside, outside, our eyes, nose, ears, pits, everywhere. The palm of our hand has different bacteria than the back of our hands. They all have essential jobs to do. Well, the good bacteria in our body outnumbers our human cells 9-1. That's how vitally important they are. And approximately 54% of those bacteria in our body have a shikimate pathway. Most are in our GI tract, and then most are in our lower colon. So now think leaky gut. Now you get an explanation of what is causing leaky gut. I think it's a number one contributing factor, and then everything else sort of falls into place to destroy it further. Glyphosate has also been found to destroy our GLP-1 hormone, which is getting a lot of press now. And that GLP hormone resides in our gut, and it's linked to our digestion, our weight management, and our blood sugar. So if you know somebody on the skinny jabs and they're not aware of their glyphosate intake, they're in double trouble. So let's have a deeper look. Next slide, please. So glyphosate dumbs down our immune response by hijacking our glycine molecule, as if the shikimate pathway damage wasn't enough. You may not have heard of glycine, but I'm sure you've probably heard of glutathione, which is our front line of defense. It's our master antioxidant. Nothing detoxes and repairs our cells like glutathione. And I'm talking about the glutathione that our body makes, not the glutathione supplement off the shelf in a health food shop. So the glutathione that our body makes is made of glycine, cysteine, and glutamate. And this, again, is something you can't just go to the health food shop and buy them and mix them up and take them. You see this illustration of a cell here. Glycine is already in the cell. Cysteine needs to come into the cell, but it can only come in when glutamate is coming out, and that is orchestrated by this little Xe minus protein, that little goldy oval there. It's only allowing cysteine in exchange for the glutamate. So this is one of the wonderful miracles of our body. But you could imagine now if glycine is hijacked by glyphosate, and I don't know why everything has to start with a G, very confusing, but now glyphosate has hijacked our glycine, so it controls our immune response. We don't want that. When you take Protandim, which boosts our body's production of glutathione naturally because of this NRF2 activation orchestrating and supporting this synthesis here, our glutathione is boosted by 3.9-fold. Well, what do I mean by that? It doesn't mean it just turns it all on, almost 400 times. It's individual for you, individual for me, individual for Phil, individual for Charlene, different today than tomorrow, different from yesterday's needs. It's like a thermostat in every cell in your body, regulating what you need when you need it. Glutathione is always looking out for and recognizes bad bacteria, bad viruses. There's some books on that, maybe some are on my shelf. And it recognizes abnormal cell divisions. And when it sees them, it chucks them out of our body, goes back and repairs the damage. There's nothing like it. So next slide, there we go. Now you've all heard of collagen, I'm sure. Our body makes 28 different types of collagen. Most people I talk to think our body just makes a collagen, one type of collagen. No, there's 28 different types. Collagen is our scaffolding and our glue. And look where collagen is in our body. And look how it works in different types work together. Cartilage, 3 different types of collagen necessary for collagen production, 3 different types of collagen for our bones. I think is absolutely fascinating. So with our collagen that Phil's going to talk about, it's actually activating our production, and he'll go into more detail on that. But the scary thing, the thing I want you to remember, the main amino acid in our collagen production is glycine. So that's, like it's just too much. We've got to do what we can do to avoid it, and I'm going to give you some hints on that in a minute. So let's address our major exposure to glyphosate, and that is the end of our fork. It's our food. And statistics say, or science says, that most diseases are 10% hereditary and 90% environmental. That gives us a lot of control. And wheat is one of the biggest problems. So when my clients say that they're gluten intolerant, I can show them they're glyphosate intolerant. And that's because wheat gets 2 sprays of glyphosate. The second time is at harvest to dry it out and get it into production faster. So the Dirty Dozen, that's easy to find. I think it gets updated regularly. The US and Australia and the UK probably have a little different take on those. But prioritize your shopping and buy as much non-spray or organic as possible. And I'm going to add to this list, apples get no fewer than 15 different pesticides. So when you're thinking of giving an apple to your children, think Snow White. Buy the organic, pennies difference. Chickpeas, we all love our hummus. It's a really healthy snack, good for us, but chickpeas get inundated with glyphosate. So get organic chickpeas and make your own, or buy an organic option. I've got 2 right under my nose here, so not hard to find. Lentils, great source of fiber and protein, doused with glyphosate, and they're so teeny tiny, you might as well just drink it. So look for the organic options. And I want to say that detox is no longer an event. It's a lifestyle now. So are you detoxing 1 minute with a detox tea or a detox spa, and then you retox the next minute? Because those toxins are lined up waiting. And as Phil said, air, water, everywhere. And then, so boosting your glutathione is your best internal defense. And I'll suggest you feel free to take screenshots of these. I'm not going to read through them because I'm probably at the end of my time, but that'll be handy to refer to. And other things you can do, campaign your food providers. Farmers markets, don't assume it's from a farm that doesn't spray. Ask. Oftentimes it's just from a municipal group and they don't care what's on it. Petition your local government, local government, not high up. They don't care. Your local government, your neighbors, to ban glyphosate, stop using it. And Pesticide Action Network is working hard to change legislation, and they will keep us informed. France has banned glyphosate. You can't even take it into the country. Italy's trying, but I could go on and on for that. But I'm going to close with, when we give our body what it understands, it responds accordingly. So thank you, and back to Phil.
I love how you mentioned when it comes to detoxes, it's not a luxury anymore, it's a necessity. But the challenge is when people detox, they can't detox all the time because you become nutrient deficient. That's a huge problem as well. That's why I love this NRF to glutathione side of things, because it actually helps open up the detox pathways. So instead of doing this major hard detox, it's like a tap dripping, ding, ding, and it's slowly detoxing over time and distance. That's why when people want to do detoxing, when it comes to certain things, it's too hard. You don't want to sit in a corner and rock in a corner for 6 weeks and try and do a hard detox. We can't handle that anymore. When it comes to NRH activation, I was actually in a flight and I was reading the study and I did not put it down. Everybody's sleeping. And I was like, hang on, wake these people up. Because this said to me, this is like a therapeutic great breakthrough in history of medicine. And the interesting thing was they spoke about 3 foods here. It was omega-3s, sweet potatoes, and sulforaphanes, which is greens. Those are NRF2 activating foods. So add those into what you're doing as well. So, but just jumping a bit further here, supplementation versus activation. And this is my funny little analogy. I like to have little cartoon things. Think of that's you there. You're running out the house is burning up over there. And this is what we try to do. We try to take supplements to survive. 100%, please do that. That I like to say that's old school. New school is activation. So if you're taking supplements, if you're lacking vitamin C, for example, please take it because you don't get scurvy, right? But once your body recognizes it gets the levels where it needs to be, you need to get off of supplements, I believe, because it can get too toxic. The thing is with activation, it's like putting a fire hose in every single room to activate your body to reduce inflammation and get the body to make its own antioxidants. And then you can basically thrive. What happens then? Inflammation can go down and your need for supplements maybe gets less or none at all. Because let's be honest, I've seen people taking lots of supplements. Your liver can't handle that. It doesn't make any sense. And half the time your pee is bright yellow because it's too concentrated. Your body doesn't understand 50,000 microunits of vitamin D, for example. So we need to understand where they fit. They all have their place. Another thing with supplementation, that does one function. Like NAC, people taking NAC to try to activate glutathione in the body. Yeah, good luck. I'd rather spend money taking one nutraceutical or one activation, which is Protandim NRF2, because it does between 80 to 100 supplements function. That was from Dr. Nancy Bryan told me that. So to me, you want to go old school or want to go new school? You should actually turn a whole system to actually an Apple Watch because that's essentially what it is. This is how things are evolving quickly. The other thing is here, the activation company's LifeVantage. And you can look at it from the company's perspective, get back to the person who invited you on this call here, and you can go more depth on the company. But the one thing that stood out for me here was they're publicly traded. In other words, you can see all the financials, all the money that gets spent, everything from that perspective. When you have private companies, they all hide behind closed doors. To me, that's a big deal. So I'll just jump ahead from there because I'm mindful of time. There are a number of products, and I'll talk about 3 quite briefly, but the one thing I'm going to start with here, the flagship product was Protandim NRF2. If you look at it here, makes your own antioxidants more than 1 million times more powerful than any supplement you can take. Now, this helps your body open up detox pathways. When I saw this what got me excited. It deals with oxidative stress, which is linked back to inflammation, all the rest of it. Gets your body to make its own. So it's not like it's not a multivitamin. This is going, hold on, let's put the lights on in the house and gets your body activated. It switches things on, but it only switches on what it needs to at that particular time. So if someone, let's say that's just got a sore toe, they want to take this out, it's going to help. Or maybe you might have a gut issue going on. It'll go there first. It's like a magnet. It'll go where it needs to go and then go somewhere else where it needs to go later on. So don't expect to take and go, oh, it's not working. Give it time and distance. If you were to try to take all the antioxidants to try to combat all the stuff we deal with every day, and I always say this, have a bit of a laugh. If I'd had so many blueberries, I'll turn to Papa Smurf. It's not going to happen. And besides, you can't even manage to break down all this food in one go. What they did back in the day, they took people that weren't taking no Protandim, they put them on Protandim for 30 days, and they test their blood afterwards, and their blood levels are so let's say, virtually the same because they couldn't differentiate whose blood was whose. It actually came to less than the age of a person's 20 years old in terms of their blood on the inside. We haven't found their pill yet on the outside, but we get in there, right? So for me, this makes more sense. Now, if you're older, when you take it, sometimes you notice a difference quicker than somebody who's younger because you've got more oxidative stress. So also the other thing I'll share as well, every 120 days, your cells replicate. That is when the magic happens. So don't expect to take it for 1 week. It's not working. It's like time and distance. It's not instant gratification. The one thing that stands out here for me in simple terms here, it lowers oxidative stress by an average of 40% in 30 days. That's powerful. It's huge. But everybody's different. But the one thing that's here, according to what Patricia's saying, ramps up your glutathione. That can take up to 3 to 4 months, depending. So it's not always going to be ramping up that high all the time. It's going to regulate what the body needs. And that's the beauty of activation. I have a lot of people that say to me, Phil, I'm taking all these ingredients. Why do I need to take it? Well, firstly, no company is going to invest a whole lot of money to give you 5 of these things and tell you can just go buy them on your own. What I say to people here, it's not about the ingredients. It's about the recipe. That is gold. And the beautiful thing here, it's all basically food, essentially. If those were 5 things I get out the garden, the man shed, in the kitchen, I'd grind it up and eat it because I'm chasing NRF2 activation. We're just lucky that it's actually food-based. Now, the other thing over here is that many people say to me, take it individually, but together they work 18 times better. Pretty simple. Now, remember, even if you were to go take, let's say, a turmeric on that same level to try and get that level up, it's going to be too toxic for the body. These are little micro ingredients, but they work 18 times better together. What is super exciting for my little sciencey nerd brain is this here. There are 7 USA patents on this product. The first 6 talk about inflammation and oxidative stress in a mammal. So give it your cats, your dogs, what have you, and yourself as humans. But the one thing that got me excited was this one here. This one particular patent, they talk about reducing CRP, C-reactive protein. What that is in a nutshell, if you have a heart attack, for example, your CRP levels increase. That's a sign of tissue damage. If you break your arm, the same thing happens. It's one of many inflammation markers in the body. I've seen clients blood work that if their CRPs are being up to sometimes 30 or 40, they've come down to less than 1 within space of 4 to 6 months. So it's time and distance we're chasing here. This excites me because if this comes down, it tells me it's reducing inflammation. You can go to PubMed, type in NRF2, put your health condition in there, and you'll find those numbers would come down. So there's a link. I did the same thing with my own stuff and many other clients I've worked with. But if you do not find that there, do not stress, go back to PubMed and go type in oxidative stress, you'll find a link. There's actually only one instance where I couldn't find anything linked back to NRF2. Go back to oxidative stress. But the bottom line is there's a link there. This is the fun part. How does this actually work? Remember that game called Pac-Man? You had those 4 ghosty guys. Think of them as free radicals. They cause inflammation, and it gets basically, or damages cells. Inflammation gets stuck on the cell wall. This is the beauty here. NRF2 is a natural recurring thing in the body, in that cell. So it knocks on the door, the nucleus, and it says, "Here, I need you to please make some antioxidants because we've got too much inflammation going on here." So I go, okay, great, done. 2 years ago, perfect situation, no problem, yeah? Now what happens today, we're living in a world that's super crazy, highly, lots of toxins, like we've spoken before here, glyphosates, heavy metals, cadmium, lead, arsenic, all these things around. And now all this free radical damage is happening, which is causing more inflammation in the cells. This is the beauty of Protandim NRF2. You keep taking it to make it, and it sends a signal, and it bangs on the NRF2 molecule and says, yo, bangs the nucleus door and says, hey, you need to make some more antioxidants so we can chew up the free radicals, and over time and distance, we can start reducing inflammation. This process takes sometimes quickly, sometimes fast. You just got to trust the process. So this is how Protandim works, and therefore you get back into balance. So if you look at it here, the world is toxic, it's crazy. You have to keep using it as a maintenance product. If you can't afford anything else, stop having coffee, buy this. Simple. The world is basically, we cannot deal with the toxins. This here is actually helping you manage to do that. But everybody's told about mitochondria. Everyone's going crazy about it. The interesting thing about mitochondria, that's your energy center of your cells. Now, if we dive down here, a little bit here, a little bit more information here. If your batteries are flat, you're going to feel like that. Now, I'm talking about your cells, right? Your cells are exhausted. You can't get out of bed. And anyone that's got mitochondrial issues going on, your health challenge is linked back to mitochondrial dysfunction. But it starts from one place, starts with inflammation. If your body's inflamed, your mitochondria go to sleep, they shut down. Because you're only born with a certain amount, they basically want to protect themselves, so they shut down. Then what happens here, we've got a major issue. So what we want to do to try to reverse that, it's not about doing everything for the mitochondria. You've actually got to go the other way around. The root cause is reduce inflammation, wakes up mitochondria, you'll get your batteries start to fill up, and guess what happens? You get energy, and you get bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And the one thing I'm going to allude to here, look at the middle one there. You are what you absorb. If your mitochondria are not functioning well, you're not absorbing your nutrients effectively. I've seen people get their mitochondria doing their thing, and they start eating less food because the food is getting absorbed a whole lot better. And also, if your mitochondria faulty, you can't heal. So you have to get your mitochondria to function a lot better. And that's obviously your energy production there. That's the most easiest way to look at it. Now, the other one they have is NRF1. Simple terms, boost your mitochondria production. Don't get caught up in the ingredients. Look at the recipe. But I always say to people, don't bother taking this one on its own. Start with NRF2 first. That's going to reduce inflammation, and or you can take them both together, depending where you want to go with it. Now, the other thing that Patricia mentions here is that on collagen, there's a big link between the glycine hijacking or glyphosate hijacking the glycine. In simple terms, think of collagen as a mattress. You're not going to sleep in the same mattress for 20, 30 years. It's going to get soft. It's going to lose the springiness. That's essentially what's happening with you. But now that's linked to every part of the body. It's connective tissue. And guess what? The gut lining is also connective tissue. If that's not good, I can tell you now, it's going to damage the body. So when we look at it here, by the age of 30, it starts declining. By the time age 80, roughly, you've lost about 50%. So you look like a prune when you're older. I get it, because your collagen production has gone down. So if we look at it here, is that this here is a lady who took collagen for 12 months. See the change. It takes time. Everybody is different. So I would imagine she would have taken NRF2 and collagen because together they work so much better together. And the thing is here, this is my take on the whole thing. If your organs start getting better, the lines in your face go away. That's one side of it. Is it because the skin has got healthy or the person taking collagen, or is it because the organs have started to heal? This is from Chinese medicine. And if you think of it here, these colon lines over here, I've seen people's faces change just by adding collagen in. Is it because they're healing the organs from the inside or they're healing the skin on the outside? You can take it what you want from there, because imagine what's happening inside. Magic is happening. So it's not just about taking one thing and hope it works. But look at this here. Collagen is everywhere. The one thing that I get excited about is this one here, the gut and the brain. That is where the magic happens. If you can heal and seal the gut, a thing called leaky brain and leaky gut is all linked together. Brain fog is leaky brain. I've had a lady who had a traumatic brain injury and had a car accident. And within about 2 to 4 weeks, she got a gut issue. It's like, yeah, there we go. Because whichever one's going to be injured first is going to cross over. So when you look at it here, there's many other things collagen does there. I've had ladies with, sexual health as well. I had one lady had dry vagina to collagen, or she's happening after 30 days. She's doing a thing, right? So it helps everywhere along the way. But together they're better. And I'm going to just go through this quickly here. Patricia's mentioned there's 10 types of collagen. I like this here, reduces cellular stress. Everyone thinks they're not stressed out. Trust me, everybody's got some form of stress. And what I like about the collagen, it's hydrolyzed, meaning it's broken up to small particles, so your body can suck it up like a sponge. And it's bioavailable, so your body can actually use it correctly. Most collagen products out there, if you're lucky, they might have 2 to 4 different types of collagens. We've got 10. And the good thing here, it's 90% absorbable rate is a whole lot better. So you're getting most of it absorbed. Other ones out there, they're just expensive, even though they actually think they're cheaper. So I'm going to end it off here is that fit in where you need to fit in. I like to say, do you want the skateboard, the bicycle, or the Porsche? Choose which one suits you financially and use some common sense. So please don't go take the biggest package and stress out to try to take it. It doesn't make sense. Start somewhere it works well. I've seen people that say, great, I need to get my health back on track. They go on the bigger package and they eventually would come down and find their balance. So they might do 4 to 6 months on this one or 4 to 6 months on that one, depending where they start. But in terms of this here, use your own judgment here. Get back to the person who invited you here. And essentially what you want to do, join the dancing community. There's lots of Facebook groups you can get into, get some more information, get back to the person who invited you here. And either or, just get started. Because so many people will research and research and research for months and months and months. And guess what happens? You're missing out all the magic that you could be taking Protandim NRF2. So I'll hand it back to Grania. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phil. Thank you, Patricia. That was incredible information. And yeah, look, if any of you, I mean, there was a lot of information there. So I'm going to have all this recording up for you. But look, my recommendation is just get started. What have you got to lose? And I know for me, my health has dramatically changed. My husband's 59, he's still playing soccer. He was told 9 years ago he was going to have to give it up. I'm just about to head to the gym now, go every day. This is how we're supposed to live. We're supposed to live a great life, and I'm in the middle of menopause. So get back to the person that recommended you if you want to see the recording. I'm going to stop this now and we'll do some Q&A.